Hey folks, welcome back to part 4 of the Star Citizen timeline. When we last left off, the UNE had established Project Farstar sometime between 2460 and 2463, a government-funded colonization program pushing ever faster expansion that would begin to stretch thin the UNE's control over great distances. Let's go back a few years though for some context on the next discovery. Decades previously, Martian exploration enthusiast Tabitha Castor had purchased scanner data from frontier systems such as Virgil, Davian and Bremen, unable to travel to the systems personally due to chronic illness. Using information collected at known jump points as a comparison baseline, she had spent almost all her free time poring through the vast data stores that she had acquired. In 2463, her Herculean, decades-long effort finally pays off when she notices that 3 different ships had picked up a similar error near the same sector of Davian. While individually it was not enough to trigger any of the standard analysis software at the time, the combined data hints that there could be something more. Tabitha contracts with Jamal Norman, an independent nav jumper from whom she had previously purchased data, to investigate the coordinates. What he finds is a previously uncharted jump point in Davian. Initial survey results of Kano, a portmanteau of the 2 discoverers' surnames, indicate that all 4 worlds are quite inhospitable, a disappointment for those who are hoping for a new world for Project Farstar to settle. Many historians point to this disappointment for helping push forward the decision to attempt the unlikely terraformation of Kano 2. If the proposal had been put forth during a different era, it's theorized the approval for the terraforming project would have never been approved. But with expansion further at an all-time high, the voices of doubt are outmatched and the green light is given. The effort that follows initially seems like it might succeed. Many settlers begin to emigrate to the world, setting up the first colony outposts. The coastal trading hub of Cartina rapidly grows to become the largest of these new settlements, and reaches such predominance in these first few years that the planet itself comes to be known by the same name. Sadly, this early success is short-lived. Atmospheric conditions soon begin to deteriorate back to a toxic state, and inhabitants are forced to remain inside sealed outposts under the ocean's surface. With the infrastructure in place and atmospheric self-sustainment seemingly within reach, it proves tempting enough for geoengineers to try again. If the world could be made more ecologically friendly, its resources would be worth considerable sum. Over the next few centuries, several more attempts to terraform Cartina come and go as new geotechnological improvements are tested out, to no avail. That same year, another jump point is found in the Davian system leading to Killian, which goes on to become a forward base for the military. Sorry, I wish I had more lore here, but that's it for the next 200 years. At some point following 2463, a jump point is found linking Ferron with Davian. In 2464, in an ironic twist of fate, Marshal Cathcart kills Adelaide Loris, meaning that Loris had named the Cathcart system after her killer. Not an inappropriate namesake, however, given what history has in store for the system. In 2467, a jump point is found in Killian as part of Project Farstar, leading to the Ellis system. Almost immediately, money is channeled into getting the multiple green band planets terraformed. These are Ellis 3 Green, Ellis 4 Campos, and Ellis 5 Noble. Racing becomes a system pastime around leftover terraforming equipment, creating rugged and challenging courses. Criminal and gambler Eamon Murray begins setting up legitimate betting systems and races, even offering small credit purses to winners of the inter-system races, named the Murray Cup. The event grows to be a massive part of the Ellis system's culture. In 2468, the government starts facing a significant budget shortfall from the terraforming of the second planet in UDS 2445309, and the expensive development of the system is quickly stopped. A compromise is settled upon. Rather than giving free access to civilians, the system will only be accessed by a single corporation, so as to maintain strict control of Cathcart. Mining rights for the system are sold to the Hathor Group for a considerable sum, which is immediately used to help fill the budget gap. This unprecedented deal echoes the fears of Adrian Zemlock, and true enough, the subsequent lack of government and public oversight allows the Hathor Group to run the system as they see fit. Their control is so ubiquitous that the system is increasingly referred to as Hathor, and eventually this is what is written on maps. Following 2468, the military presence in Cathcart dwindles, and access to the system gets easier and easier. Without a claim on Cathcart, we're set for a repeat of the Null system. Few laws are enforced in Hathor, allowing crime to become commonplace, the only viable economy outside of mining, and this actively bleeds through to Cathcart. Over time, the Cathcart system becomes a home for criminals who build makeshift bases from the carcasses of scrapped ships. Eventually one concentrated mass of scrap emerges, the outlaw base and so-called pirate capital, Spider. Also following 2468, the discovery of other jump points linking Hathor with Ellis and Killian with Cathcart makes the situation worse. Gangs begin to stalk the flight paths between the jump points and planets in Hathor, preying on any ship they find. That, combined with the Hathor group's stranglehold on the system, dissuades most people from visiting and most businesses from setting up operations. In 2469, the watch officer of the Roosterbout, an Earth-flagged tanker ship moving through the Cano system, notes a gravitic anomaly 30,000 kilometers off the transport's port bow. A detailed report is sent to the ship's corporate owners, Pyrotechnic Amalgamated, but no action is taken. In 2473, a jump point is discovered in Hathor leading to Min, a system consisting only of a rogue planet and its 4 orbiting moons, which are quickly strip-mined for any resources. The planet is a Jupiter-sized gas giant that generates around 600 Kelvin of heat. Min 1b, that is to say, the second moon orbiting the planet, against all odds has liquid water on the surface, leading to the creation of some settlements. Bioluminescent bacteria are discovered around the planet's thermal vents. Unfortunately, illegal activity in Hathor intensifies with the discovery of Min, and there is increased traffic from Hathor's neighbouring unclaimed systems. Following 2473, there's another jump point found linking Min with Ellis. It's unknown why there have been 2 jumps found leading to this rogue planet, yet no other examples of a rogue planet system have since been found. In 2474, the jump point from Virgil to the Tiber system is first charted by UNE long-range explorers associated with Project Farstar. The system doesn't bear any exotic new resources or strategic jump lines, so the public are slow to populate the system. Smaller mining consortiums eager for the cheaper permits and land rights do trickle in though. The Farstar interest in the system is soon diverted to other systems. Following 2474, a jump point is found linking Tiber with Oberon. In 2478, the famed UNE survey ship Mythic Horizon, captained by Glenn Whitaker, discovers a jump point in Ellis leading to the Tyrannus system. There's only a single high-risk candidate for terraforming in the initial scouting report, the second planet. Shortly after discovery, the system is the site of a tragedy when one of Mythic Horizon's survey boats is lost with all hands in a meteor strike. With humanity's optimism over settling space reaching a peak, when a confluence of social factors and political pressures make space the Millennium's manifest destiny, a tempering of expectations and a return to caution is sorely needed, but unfortunately, as is often the case, this wake-up call comes in the form of a disaster. Sometime before 2481, Mika Zahir finds himself out of work in the Ferran system, taking up low-paying gigs as an escort for supply convoys. On one such run, a convoy receives intel that outlaws are targeting the usual route. Venturing away from the traditional shipping lanes, Zahir picks up strange ping. A series of scans quickly eliminate the possibility of it being another ship, before the anomaly vanishes. Later, once the convoy has reached its destination, Zahir returns with curiosity, undertaking a thorough investigation and discovering a jump point to a new system. In 2481, Zahir makes multiple trips to the system to thoroughly scan it. When he eventually reports the discovery, he names it Oritani, after his favourite ship from the 2464 film Blastcaster. The system's discovery sparks excitement when it's found that it contains 6 planets, 2 of which have been cleared as potentially habitable, as well as a mineral-rich asteroid belt. Thanks to Project Farstar and numerous technological advances, an oversaturation of terraforming corporations flock for government contracts, and it is awarded to Turia Terraforming, regarded as a politically safe and progressive choice. Though the company has never terraformed a planet before, the company exemplifies good forethought in the planning stages, prioritising things like worker morale, something the later Aphian Inc. would have done well to take note of. Thousands of workers and their families jump at the opportunity to help terraform the Oritani system and create their future home. In 2483, the first terraforming machines above Oritani 2 become active, and by 2484, the operation is firing on all cylinders, with initial results proving to be better than expected. But industry insiders are bothered by reports trickling out of the system, stories of occasional food rationing due to delayed shipments, creating a burgeoning black market. Other families feel swindled when they learn that Oritani 2 is an ocean world, a fact that certain Turia recruiters had failed to make clear in economically depressed areas of the UNE. In 2485, in an effort to undercut the growing negative press, Turia's CEO, Adriana Bretanek, invites a handful of journalists to tour the system. 2 days after they enter the system, the jump point connecting Oritani with Ferren suddenly collapses, cutting off all connection to the rest of civilization. The loss of Oritani strikes a heavy blow to humanity's psyche. The idea of easy, confident expansion across the stars has been irreparably damaged. When news first breaks of Oritani's loss, many are simply confused, not having known that such a thing was even possible. Jump points have been known to be unstable, but not disappear completely. The UNE dispatches a massive fleet of scanning and scientific ships into Ferren, hoping to reopen the lost jump point or discover a new one. Humanity's best and brightest minds offer their help, and companies across human space donate money and supplies to the cause. The most brilliant minds in the UNE grapple with a cosmic question: can you open a collapsed jump point? Yet all their efforts are in vain, as the frantic search settles into a systematic exploration of options. Days turn into weeks, then months, and though the story still sits on everyone's minds, the realization that the system might be gone for good slowly sinks in. Eventually, the UNE reluctantly reduces the resources dedicated to rediscovering Oritani, and install an extensive array of sensor beacons near the former jump point. A fleet of military pathfinders is deployed to the system and assigned to patrol the region on a regular basis. The fear that this might happen again keeps settlers from venturing further into the stars, and systems begin to stockpile supplies to make sure they can self-sustain should the unthinkable happen. The population is shaken by this development too, and systems with multiple jump points see a noticeable increase in population. There is even increased immigration back to Earth, the exact opposite of what the UNE had hoped to accomplish with Project Farstar. To this day, the government maintains an array of sensors and has pathfinders patrolling that centre of Ferren in the hopes that the jump point will reopen. In 2493, Terrell Dorazio slowly pilots his exploration ship, the Ikaroa, across a sector of Retor. A student at Mentor University, Dorazio and a friend visit this section of space to ingest hallucinogens and stare at Retor 5 as it travels through a picturesque portion of its orbit. Mid-experience, Dorazio becomes convinced that his ship's scanner has picked up an anomaly, but his friend assures him it was just part of the hallucination. The experience sticks with Dorazio. After graduation, the novice explorer returns to that sector and spends weeks scanning it. Eventually, he finds a jump into an undiscovered system and names it Idris after the friend who insisted nothing was there. UNE pathfinders explore Idris to discover one potentially habitable planet and a mineral-rich protoplanet. They quickly claim the system and rush to terraform Idris 4. That same year, Pyrotechnic Amalgamated begin reviewing old scan records, noting the original 2469 report from the roustabout. They dispatch an explorer to the region, only to formally discover Pyro and chart its environs. This survey simply notes the overall disarray of the planetary system, the difficulty of finding transportable resources, and the unlikelihood of successfully terraforming anything there. At the system centre is a red dwarf with unpredictable solar flares. This flare star stops any chance of life developing in the system, and can be a hazard to ships traversing it. At some point between 2493 and 2544, a jump point is found linking Idris with Ferren. In 2499, a jump point is discovered in Elis, leading to the Magnus system. The UNE deem it to be of interest. There are 3 planets orbiting a Type K main sequence star. Dimmer than Earth's own sun, a single world, Magnus II, or Borea, is cleared for terraforming. Large deposits of minerals on Magnus I also encourage development in the system, but for now it remains military classified. By 2509, an outlaw pack colourfully known as the Daybreak Marauders have made a name for themselves, knocking over convoys in the Ellis system. As quickly and efficiently as the Marauders attack and rob their prey, they flee into the Tyrannus system, and then disappear without a trace. The advocacy agents assigned to the case, Special Agents Avon Dorville and Gia Trask, are determined to hunt down this elusive pack. For months, the Special Agents track the Daybreak Marauders into Tyrannus, only for them to escape again and again. When the advocacy agents finally find their quarry, they are stunned to realise that the group hadn't discovered a particularly effective route through Tyrannus' asteroid belt. Instead, they had been using a previously unknown jump point to leave Tyrannus and hide out in what would become known as the Helios system, home to the volcanically active ocean world Helios II, or Tangaroa. At some point between 2509 and 2542, humanity obtains coordinates to the jump point from Helios to Kin's Abanu system. In 2510, a pyrotechnic amalgamated scan crew in the Pyro system discovers a jump point leading to a new system, which they name Nivelin after the company's founder, Tromo Nivelin. However, already stretched thin by its recent investments in Pyro, they decide to forego any claims on the nearly uninhabitable solar system in exchange for the influx of capital that the sale of the discovery would bring. Likewise, with its focus mainly on finding worlds to terraform for settlement, the UNE shows little interest in pursuing an active role in the new system. Instead, the first wave of inhabitants are those drawn by the resources waiting to be harvested from the asteroid belt circling between the second and third worlds. As the mining population slowly grows, small stations are built to cater to their needs and provide housing for the new influx of support workers that comes as well. In 2514, a merchant marine fuel collection vessel is operating in Nivelin. The ship's captain, Adama Schnaus, makes it a point to take a different route on each collection trip to keep the crew on their toes. One day, Schnaus notices a strange anomaly on their scans and redirects their course to investigate it. What they find is a large jump point connecting to a new system. Schnaus names the system Keel after a longtime friend who adamantly refused to leave his home planet of Mar, in the hope that the gesture would motivate his friend to finally venture into the stars to see the system that bears his name. Military pathfinders scan the system to discover that none of the planets are naturally habitable, and only the first one, Severus, is deemed suitable for terraforming. In 2515, the Hades system is first identified by the Merry Crow, a tramp freighter. The discovery is not formally catalogued though, because the ship had been carrying several hundred freight units of stolen fusion drives. In 2516, Project Farstar finally pays off when a jump point is found leading to the Terra system, initially designated as 342A. The first scanner data on the system's third planet reveals a natural super-Earth located squarely in the star's green band. The prospect for colonization is immediately obvious. The planet is quickly nicknamed Terra by the initial discovery team, a name that soon applies to the whole system. Terra captures the imagination of the UNE for its astounding similarity to an untouched Earth. Lush, verdant, and brimming with natural resources, settlers and corporations alike are eager to claim their own piece of this pristine world. Adding even more intrigue to the planet, rock structures, known as the Oziorsk, are discovered shortly after colonization begins on the southern continental mass. These ruins are clearly indicative of intelligent life, creating one of the most debated archaeological mysteries ever. The nearby city comes to be known as Kuzi, and joins the ranks of Prime and New Austin as the planet's foremost landing zones. It's not long before early inhabitants of Terra discovered that the system is abundant in jump points, with predictions made for further ones to be located. There are two possible ways that the system of Gos could have been discovered, either via the Helios system between 2509 and 2516, or via Terra in the year 2516. A long but unverifiable rumour claims that the system's name derives from the first explorer's reaction to his discovery, Gosh. There is a natural beauty to Gos owing to the Olympus Pool, a stellar emission cloud that is visible from any viewport in the system, awash with bands of turquoise, gold, and deep orange. While outlaws are known to base themselves within the pool, the second planet, Cassel, dotted with majestic shorelines and rainforests, is soon settled by naturalistic religious groups, the focus later inevitably shifting towards tourism, but history does imbue a strong sense of self-sufficiency among locals. In 2522, as the terraforming of Severus in Keel is underway, a jump point is accidentally found leading to Baker, a binary star system. Baker remains relatively forgotten due to the fact that binary stars traditionally offer little of value to humans. Even when a planet within a binary star's green zone can be terraformed, the gravitic stress associated with passing close to or between two stars renders attempts at civilization a moot point. However, Baker still does at least draw the eye of scientific expeditions. The jump point discovery does also ignite a massive public and private interest in Keel. Even though Keel hasn't been officially inhabited, it is already well connected to the expanding eastern edge of human space. It has a mineral-rich asteroid belt, gas giants to be used for refueling, and soon a terraformed world to serve as the system's nerve centre. By 2523, more than 20 planets are now approaching the population numbers of Earth. With the UNE now clearly stretched beyond capacity, it reforms into the United Planets of Earth, or UPE, with Congress now made up of delegates representing planets. New figureheads are also instituted: the High Secretary managing infrastructure, the High General for the military, and High Advocate for law. Some historians theorised that the bureaucratic failings during Theron's land lottery had fanned the flames of reform that led to this restructuring. At last, it seems like Project Farstar can push humanity's horizons outwards unhindered. But as they say, no plan survives contact with the enemy.